Okay, welcome back. What I am going to do now is that I'm going to go through some examples with you all so that you can be able to see how we start to calculate these things, right? Um, I'm going to continue to leave my mic muted as I write down the notes. I would like you to write down the notes while I'm writing as well. Thank you. Are you finished writing?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so let me explain what we just did here. We want to convert 3 and 5/6 to an improper fraction. This is what we know as a mixed number, and this here is our solution. How we got this 18/6 is that we multiply the 3 wholes by the 6 parts of each whole it is going to be divided into. Right? In other words, we multiply the whole number 3, by the denominator 6 as our first step and represent it as a fraction, thus giving us a fractional representation, in this case, 18 divided by 6. So that gives us a fractional representation of 3 wholes divided into 6 parts. So this is how we got our 18/6. And that is how we got 18/6. This in itself, this particular figure here in itself is already an improper fraction. This is the steps we would take to turn a whole number, a whole part into an improper fraction, or what we know as a whole number, because a whole number is a part of the proper fraction, the mixed number. Now, all we need to do after this to convert the entire mixed number into an improper fraction is we simply add the proper fraction to the improper fraction we got from the whole number. So this is where we get 18/6 plus 5/6, which gives us 23/6. So therefore, our final answer, and I always want you to write, I always want you to write your answers like this, because when it's time for examination, this aspect of what we did is our working, and that's going to get us our marks. But if we leave out in the final answer, then we tend to lose marks as well. But yeah, any questions? Cameron?
No, miss, no questions.
All right, great. Next slide, what we're gonna be doing is, did you finish take down this note?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so moving on to the next slide, I'm going to show you how to convert improper fractions back to mixed numbers. All right, Cameron,
Yeah, miss.
you finished write down this note?
Yes, miss.
All right, great. So let me just explain what this is. Now, when we converting from an improper fraction into a mixed number, this is what we do. The first step is to divide the numerator by the denominator. So we're going to divide 19 by 8, which will give us 2. If you notice on the calculator, when I did this, I got 2.375. When you do this for now, only for now, I want you to completely ignore the 3.75. This will give us the fraction the proper fraction that we are looking for. And when we get to converting decimals to fractions, then I will come back to the same example and I'll show you how to get this answer into a mixed number, right? But for now, I just want you to take away the 2, which is the whole number and the whole part of the fraction. So we got 2 whole parts when we divide 18 into 8 parts. The next step will be to multiply the amount of whole parts you get with the denominator. So we know we got 2, we're going to multiply 8 by 2. This is going to tell us how much does these two whole parts have. If this wasn't 8 and this was, say, 20, we would do the same thing for each denominator. The next step is to subtract your answer in step 2 from the numerator of the improper fraction, because we want to know how many remaining, and let's use the pies from previously. We want to know how much apple pie is remaining in the one that is not a whole fraction. So when we divide the 16 from the numerator, because really and truly what we are dividing here, right? What we are really and truly dividing here is not 16. We are dividing, right? What we are dividing, what this really is, and I'm just gonna use it. What this really is, this is how we need to look at it. This is really 8 over 8, right? Multiplied by 2 over 1. That is essentially what this 8 multiplied by 2 means, right? And then when we go further, we will get, so when we do that, 8 multiplied by 2, 8 multiplied by 2 will give us 16, and 8 multiplied by 1 will give us 8. So what we are actually getting here is 16 eighths, right? Now, to be able to get the remainder, to get a proper fraction, right? What we have to do here, what you are getting here, for simplicity's sake, what you have here is 19 over 8 subtract 16 over 8, which will now give us 3 over 8, right? That is what we do here. So yes, we can represent it 2 ways. We can represent it as fractions, or we can represent it as whole numbers. The 8 denominator is understood when we represent it. So I wanted to show you it both ways. So this now becomes 19 over 8 subtract 16 over 8, which gives you 3 over 8. Now, this gives you the numerator of the remaining part of the improper fraction. And that's how we get this fraction. What we want to do as our final answer is to combine the whole numbers you got from step 1, which is 2, and an improper fraction from step 2, not improper fraction, the proper fraction from step 3 to get your final answer in a mixed number, right? So that is how we get 2 and 3/8. Any questions?
No, miss.
Okay, great. Now I am moving on immediately to addition and subtraction of fractions. What I will be doing is that after class, I will send you practice questions for you to work on, and you will either email the answers to me before class so I can see what questions you got wrong. The questions that you got wrong, that is what we'll be correcting next class on Tuesday, and moving on to a different aspect of this topic from there. Is that understood?
Yes, miss.
Okay, great. Okay, so I will finish writing out this note and then I will just end the meeting after I write this note and come back to explain, okay? Okay, class. So what I am doing now is that I'm gonna end the meeting and then we're gonna come back on for the last half hour of class.